Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well and fine. In today's session, I will teach you the classroom management skills. In the first session, you learned how to manage your classroom effectively. Also, this lesson will be about classroom management, but you are going to learn some skills of classroom management. You are going what language in the classroom, and also classroom routines and procedures and self-reflections. Classroom management skills are very important for teachers. They help a lot to manage effectively the learning in class. So, of course, classroom are very important for teachers. Why they are very important for teachers? It helps a lot to manage effectively the learning in class. It has a positive impact also, has a positive impact on students learning and also on teachers teaching. What is classroom management? What is classroom management? So a lot of teachers misuse this term and don't know what is exactly classroom management. So in this session, you will understand what is classroom management. Classroom is a collection of techniques that teachers use to encourage effective learning by minimizing distraction and disruptions. I like very much this definition because when we mention class, we mention a lot of techniques that we use. Why? To encourage effective learning. Because why we should use these techniques? In order to an effective learning take place, and also reduce distractions and disruptions in classroom. Classroom management can often be a neglected part of a teacher's training. Of course, classroom management shouldn't be a neglected part of a teacher's training. Also, teachers should be trained on how to manage the classroom effectively. A teacher can have great lesson plans and materials. However, if a teacher cannot manage his class, effective learning will not happen. If you cannot manage your classroom effectively, there is no effective learning, there is no learning. Task 1. What are the essential elements or skills of a good classroom means? How do we know this is a classroom management? This is a good classroom management. So what are the essential elements? What are the essential skills of classroom management? Building classroom community. Some example means a teacher should build a classroom community. Classroom should be a community. Creating safe and supportive environment. So the environment in the classroom should be safe, should be supportive, should be positive. A teacher should try his best to build a positive rapport with his learners. Creating classroom expectations. You should know what are the expectations, why the classroom students come into class, what they are going to learn, what they want to learn, and how they want to learn it. Being fair and consistent with all students means democratic person. It should be fair and consistent with all students. Keeping lessons engaging and relevant means the lesson should be engaging. Having a clear plan for the lesson and keeping students informed. Having a clear plan for the lesson. Dealing with disruptive quickly and constantly should deal with disruptive behavior in a pedagogical way and also quickly and consistently. And some teachers they deal with this behavior. They use violence and use insulting, and this is not a good way. This is not a pedagogical way. Challenging students. You should give some tasks where learners they are challenging, maybe some challenging tasks. Being passionate and about teaching, you should passionate. You should love your job, because loving what you do, I think, when you love what you do, You try to be creative, you try to be positive, you try to be a model, you try to come to class with positive energy. Why are these classroom techniques important? Why they are important? First, community building means providing opportunities for students to get to know each other and have a good rapport with the teacher. When the teacher builds a community in his class, you give the student the opportunity to know each other and have a good rapport with their teacher. So the teacher should try, as I have said before, try his best to build a good rapport with the learners. When students feel connected to their classmate and to their teacher, motivation increases and interaction is easier. So prepare activities that allow students to get to know one another. So the activity should, the teacher should provide activities where the students know each other. Know your students. You should know your students. Know your students, the way you learn, how do you learn, what they want to learn, and so on. Get to know your students on a personal level as much as possible. This can be difficult in a very large class. This helps you to have a good rapport with your student and to design activities that meet their needs and interests. Very important. So when you know them, this helps you to design activities that meet their needs and interests. So they are more likely to be engaged and there will be no disabled behavior in class. So the student will be engaged, they will be motivated, they want to learn, they come with positive energy class. The more you know your student, the more you can understand the reasons for disruptive behavior and find a way to limit it. This includes finding ways to organize students' strengths in some way. So knowing your students, I think it's one of the skills that help you to techniques to manage the classroom very effectively. Task 3. Did you ever have a teacher who clearly favored some students and disliked others? What if it did have on your and on the student? Of course, this will have a negative impact on learning because this is not a pedagogical way. If you feel the students are the same. Be fair and consistent with all students. You should be fair. A teacher, as we always have, students will like more and less. The more motivated and prepared, the whole is motivated and prepared. It is our job to make sure that we treat all students equally. So the teacher should treat all students equally. Do recognize students who are doing a good job. Find ways to do this for students when they do something well. Often students who are labeled as bad or poor will live up the label. They may engage in disruptive or other, and so the teacher in class should be fair and consistent with all learners. Keep lessons engaging and relevant to students. Of course, it should be engaging. It should be lessons where students are engaged, where students they perform at the highest level. Students often cause problems in the classroom because they are not engaged. Remember the last time you were bored, were you paying attention? Think about your lesson plans and how to incorporate activities that keep students interested and active. So the activities that we use in the classroom are very important because these activities can engage learners or disengage them. So this is very important. Teachers should pay attention to this. Keep activities fairly short, especially for young learners. Make sure students are doing a lot. When you teach a lesson, break it up into small pieces with practice or application activities in between. When students are listening, this does not mean they are learning. Create activities that will appeal to your students based on their needs. So all the activities that you use in class should appeal to learners' needs and interests. And engaged students is a managed students. Have a clear plan for the lesson. As a teacher, you need to be clear about your objectives and how you plan to achieve them. You should be clear. What is the plan that you will achieve this objective by doing all of the stages. If you don't know what your plan is when you talk in the classroom, course will be likely outcome. When students know what they are expected to do and why, they are more likely to engage in the lesson. If students understand where they need to go and why, they are more likely to get there, so they will be engaging. Remember, if you don't have a plan for your students, they will have one for you. Very important, yeah. If you don't have a plan for your student, if students don't know what is the plan for this, what they are going to do, what are the steps that they move through. Deal with disruptive behavior quickly and consistently. Very important. So you should deal, the way we deal, I think, with disruptive behavior in the classroom, this has a positive impact or negative impact on learning and teaching. Engaging in arguments and losing your temper are not effective ways to deal with disrupting. So, for many reasons, some students may try to disrupt class on purpose. Don't let this happen. Other options: start by making eye contact with the students. Often this is enough. If these techniques don't work, talking with the students outside of class to find the solution is often effective. So this is some ways, some techniques to deal with disruptive behavior. Sometimes you should talk privately with the students, disruptive ones, to limit this behavior. In general, make sure that any response to disruptive behavior is consistent, so the students don't feel that some can get away with, others can. However, many behavior issues can be avoided by identifying students who demonstrate potential for disruptive behavior and strategizing ways to overcome them before problems occur. Being proactive is also better than being reactive. Okay, so this is some way how to deal with disruptive behavior. Challenging students. Yeah, I know. Think about your own experience in school. What made you feel bored or off task? Two main reasons: a lack of challenge or too much challenge. Students who find the work too easy are going to find other ways to engage themselves. Students who find the work too hard will become frustrated, give up, and find ways to engage themselves. Works to find ways to challenge all of your students at the appropriate level, as much as appropriate. Shouldn't be too challenging and shouldn't be less challenging. It should be challenging at the appropriate level. This can be a difficult task for teachers. However, intellectual challenge that inspires students, curiosity keep them involved and on task. So challenge students also help to create a positive learning environment, helps to manage classroom effectively. Be passionate about teaching. What do you mean by passionate? Means he should learn, he loves the job. He should come to the classroom with positive energy, excited, not bored. Students can tell when a teacher is not excited about being in the classroom. If the teacher does not care, what should students have to care? Bring your life to English teaching and learn it to class and share that with your students. So you should be passionate about teaching. What language in the classroom? Can use poor negative language classroom? Besides any teacher should improve and use positive classroom language. So the language that we are going to use in the classroom is positive classroom language. What can teacher do with students at the beginning English language levels? What can teacher do with students beginning within middle school and common core? So language in the classroom should be positive. It should be positive classroom energy, classroom language. Classroom routine and procedure. They help students get involved in classroom activities and keep discipline in class. What are the routines teacher use to get students more involved in class? What are? Action step. Identify specific rules and procedure for your classroom. Category: general expectation, beginning and ending, transition, interruption, group work, seat work, teacher-led activities, involve students in the design of rules and procedures, discussion with students, real-life examples, connections. So all of these are some classroom procedures. Task 3, self-review. Which of these classroom skills do you already use and which would you like work on? So this is question to the viewers of this video. Try to answer and write them on the comments. How do you currently use language in your class? And what kind of classroom routines do you use? In what ways do you think you could improve your practices? How might you adapt these ideas to fit your own teaching contexts? And conclusion, teaching is not just about knowing content and methodology. Very good. And teaching is not knowing your content and knowing how to teach English. It's about finding ways to connect with students and help them to grow and develop curiosity and love for learning. So this is teaching. Teaching is not just knowing content methodology, but finding ways to help make students learn, to make students make use of the language, do something with the language. Skilled teacher develop ways to do this in order to create the best classroom environment possible. Of course, classroom norms vary from culture to culture and context to context. So all teachers must consider how to put these elements into practice in ways that work for them and their students. So this is a conclusion about this lesson, a decision in which you have learned the classroom management skills, okay, that are some skills I have said are very important. So these skills are building classroom community, creating a safe and supportive environment. So this is example to classroom management skills. Creating positive environment, being fair, keeping us engaging, having a plan, challenging students, being passionate. All of these are some classroom management skills that every teacher should have and should possess. I hope you benefit a lot from my session in which you have learned classroom management skills, and see you with another session in which you will learn how to teach English. Goodbye.